and salutations everyone. Hi there, I'm Mark Absalon and welcome to Gadgets and Gizmos. I am your guru on the subject. And in this series, we're going to be looking at all kinds of cool little gadgets, whether it's electronic, something that's not electronic, something that's cool, something that's groovy, something that you will like. Or maybe not like. It depends on your preference. Well, let's start off this series by taking a look at the Nexus 1. I was sent over this telephone for free by Google probably about 3 months ago, and I was gonna do a review on it at the time, but you know, I thought, let's put this telephone through its paces before we actually tell you some information about it. So that's what I've done, and so far I've been pretty impressed. Well, let's look at the specifications of the Nexus 1 before we get into the nitty-gritty of this telephone. Now, the first thing you're going to notice on the Nexus 1 is the screen itself. The screen is 3.7 inches diagonal across, while the resolution is 800 by 480 pixels. Superb resolution. Your images come in excellent on this. That's one thing I really like about this telephone, is its thinness and the screen resolution. The Nexus 1's operating system was developed by Google. It's called Android. It's not only on the Nexus 1, it's on several other telephones or smartphones out there on the market. Now, the really cool thing I like about what Google did with the Android system is the marketplace, the source code is open for anyone. That means anyone can create an application and put it on the marketplace and have other users download it, which is a great concept and idea that I think is personally lacking out there. And Google took the initiative and made it open source so that anyone can create apps for their phone, their smartphone, like this phone. Right now the App Store is around 20,000, but probably by the end of the year it'll probably be up to 50 or 60. So this thing's really taking off in my own personal opinion. Now, the Nexus 1 is card-based. It's all solid state. The processor in it is a 1 gigahertz processor, so things are pretty lightning quick on it. Now, let's talk about some of the talk time issues and also internet issues along with the battery life. Now, I disagree with some of the specs that they have out there for the battery and talk time and internet time. The average standby time on this, yes, they're correct. It'll go for days and days and days. Now, your talk time, you're probably gonna maybe get about 6 hours out of it before you have to start charging it again. While on the internet, you'll probably get about 4. So if you do a lot of heavy internet browsing or you talk on the telephone a lot, be sure and keep a charger handy for this sucker because you're gonna need it. Other hardware on the Nexus 1 is a digital camera. This is a 5 megapixel still photography camera. It also has a little flash on it too. But not only will this thing take photos, it'll also take video. 720 by 480 video at up to 20 frames, almost all the way up to 30 frames a second. Now, it's got a digital zoom on it. It's a 2x digital zoom. Why the hell would you even put a digital zoom on it? Nobody uses the digital zoom. Digital zooms are crap and they should be taken off of everything. But overall, this camera on the Nexus 1 is a fairly good camera. I've used it several times and I've also used the video camera on it, and I gotta say, pretty impressed with it. Now, the phone will work on the T-Mobile network, which I'm with. It'll also work with AT&T too, if you can change out the SIM card. And I've also heard they're going to get it to work on Verizon. Now, the telephone itself will do Bluetooth, it'll do music, it'll dock up to your computer. It'll do basically everything an iPod and iPhone will do. The only thing is, you got a bigger screen, you have got a different OS, and other than that, it's pretty much the same. Now, I have to say, I've experienced one major problem with this telephone. And like I said, this is why I put this thing through the works before I did the review on it. This telephone had an update for pinch and zoom back, I think it was in March. And that pinch and zoom is if you have an iPhone or something like that. I mean, you know, you zoom in, you pinch, and you zoom in. Well, after this came in place on the OS, I go to a website, pinch and zoom, go all over it and everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, I would click a link, but it wouldn't click that. It would cause something to click on the bottom. And then I'd try to enter text and it wouldn't enter text, or it wouldn't click and it would lock up, or I'd hover my finger up above the screen and it would click things. Now, this is an issue. So I started freaking out. I turned the telephone off, turned it back on, worked fine. I did this several more times, and I found a quick fix for this is to just put the telephone to sleep and wake it back up. But that's not a solution. It needs to be a software update in order to fix this problem. Now, my personal opinion is I like the Nexus 1. I think if Google works out some of the kinks, they'll definitely have an absolute winner with this telephone. Now, something else too that they really should consider is I've taken this telephone into the T-Mobile store and shown it to people there, and everyone has drooled over it. I've had other customers come over and say, hey, can I look at that? So they like the telephone, they just want to purchase it through the store. So if Google, if you're listening to this, you might want to consider putting them in the stores to have customers purchase. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed this review of the Nexus 1. I am your Gadgets and Gizmos guru, Mark Absalon, and I will see you next time when we do another cool and interesting little review on another cool little gadget.